Round 9 clash in the Telstra Premiership. It's the St George-Illawarra Dragons taking on the Canberra Raiders. The Raiders come into this game with a 2-win and 6-loss record from the first 8 rounds. 4 points is their tally. They are yet to have their first bye of the season. There you see their back line today. Graham at fullback, Robinson, Croker, Jensen, Lalisi, McClendon and Finch. The forward pack has one change in it, with Simon Wolford coming off the bench for Alan Tongue. He's there with Peyton O'Hara, Mapp Hodgson and Martin in the back row. Tongue moves back to the bench. Michael Monaghan is in 14. Thompson and Porter make up that bench. They were very good last week against the Sharks. This side in patches were very good against the Eagles. And today the Dragons back line has Roberts, Leloata, Hookie, Timmins, Cooper, Barrett and Peters, the halves. The forward pack has plenty of changes to it though. Felch is there in the front row. Riddell comes off the bench to start at hooker. Likewise for Bailey, who's there in 18. Smith is in the second row now, with Lance Thompson returning from a quadricep injury. And there's the new bench: Kite, Ross, Tutt and Millard. Our referee is Paul Simpkins. Interestingly, Jason Croker chose to run into this breeze, which is a bit of a nor'easter here at Wollongong today. So the Dragons will have the first use of that in this first 40 minutes. We'll see if the return of Thompson and Riddell can spark them today. Roberts with a deep kickoff will float down in deep into the in goal and be brought out by the Raiders.
That's one. Stand up.
O'Hara will play it there to Wolford. Comes to the left-hand side. Across the face of the field they go. Peyton is tackled just outside the Raiders' 10. Finch gets the dummy half and gives it off to Hodgson. Good hit up of a gain of about 10 metres for them. Again, Peyton puts his hand up and says, I'll take it up towards the 30-metre line. Couple of tackles left for them. O'Hara again, his second hit up in this first set of 6. And they're almost back to their own 40. Not a bad gain. Finch to kick away under some pressure from Justin Smith. Roberts tried to play it off the toe, and it cost him at least 10 metres and plenty of time as well. And the Raiders will stop him inside his own 20. A good start for the visitors.
Well, it certainly was. Good set of 6. Didn't try anything too fancy, just forwards hitting it up. Good to see young Ryan O'Hara taking up twice in that set of 6.
Stand up, balance with
it. And they've lost it here.
Stand up with it.
An early mistake by the Dragons.
Try to do it.
Paul Simpkins has found a mistake at the play of the ball, and it will give the Raiders terrific chance here from the St George-Illawarra 30-metre line to go on the attack. Finch works the scrum, and it comes to McClendon. Runs across the field. Oh, he caught a couple of them out. Gets the ball away to Lalisi. Coming and crossing cover. They can't pick him up, and the Raiders score in just the second minute of the game.
Well, you couldn't have asked for a better start, could you, in the Raiders side? It all come about, though, because of the drop ball around the ruck area, in the play of the ball area. Come up with a scrum in a great attacking position. Just a simple play. He just steps off the right. Man runs back on the inside. Gets around his centre, draws the winger, puts his man away. It's a great try.
Crossing across the field, Barrett watched the player come back on his inside. Eye of Barrett. Jensen cutting back in towards the scrum area, and then Hookie followed, and suddenly there was a big gap. They went straight through it.
That was a big problem. Lee Hookie, he actually followed Trent Barrett in, and of course that allowed Mark McClendon to get on his outside, which drew the winger in, left his winger unopposed.
Phil Graham from wide out, a terrific kick, and what a start for Canberra here in Wollongong. From the touchline into the breeze on the wrong side for the left footer, and the Raiders lead the Dragons 6 points to 0. Roberts again picks it up on his own 10-metre line. They need to try and stop him, but they can't do. Now here comes Jensen, who chops him down across the halfway line. They've given up some big metres on the kick return of the Dragons. They had 4 players in a line there, but they couldn't stop him. And now here's Barrett combining with Hookie, and the Raiders all up inside the 10.
Offside, they're standing in front.
Well, that was a great break there by Amos Roberts. He's a guy with plenty of pace, and the Raiders must learn from that. They can't afford to have too many guys not in the line. They've got to keep their line straight, and they've got to communicate. Otherwise, he'll be doing that to them all day.
Luke Felch from the tap. Within 5 metres, the Dragons' best chance to hit the scoreboard for the first time in this game. Barrett. It comes to Bailey. Met with a solid tackle upstairs. Darren Mapp was there to stop him. Now Riddell gives it to Peters with some players in motion. A gap there for Timmins. They worked it nicely. Robertson and Finch were caught out. They couldn't stop the bigger man. The Dragons score through Sean Timmins, and it's 6-4.
Well, it was great ball movement there, and it was good. It was good to see the ball being thrown across a good back line, but it all started from this man here, Amos Roberts. It was a good kick by the Raiders. But there he goes on the outside. A lack of communication there. Rod Jensen was the man that had to take Roberts. He came a little bit later. Then a couple of plays later after that, they received a penalty, got themselves in a good field position, and this is a great ball. A great pass there by Willie Peters. They had an overlap. There was plenty of gaps out there.
I think the best thing here, Brett, is that Willie Peters had a lot of options outside. Lance Thompson, he chose to give the ball to Sean Timmins, and it's pretty hard to stop him only 5 metres out from the line. Great trade by the Dragons. They're not panicking. They're showing a lot of patience. They're well and truly back into this game.
Back in the side, Mark Riddell has the goal-kicking duties to start this game at least. Of course, Roberts, a handy goal kicker himself. The Dragons fans would have missed the Riddell salute as he moves into it. Strikes it out to the right-hand side. It won't come back with that breeze. And the Raiders have a 6-4 lead here at Wollongong after 12 minutes. Wolford goes past one. Finch puts it on the toe early here. Jensen flying through. The combination that scored last week, and they've done it again here today.
He's checking onside, thanks, Hunter.
They want us to take a look and see if Jensen was onside. If he is, there's no doubt about it. Terrifically worked play between the halfback and the man he put a kick in for last week. Let's take a look and see Finch kicking from just inside the 20. There's no doubt Jensen's onside quite easily, and they did it early in the tackle count as well, and they've come up with 4, perhaps 6 points.
Well, it was great work, obviously a set move, but as you mentioned, Warren, it was done early in the tackle count, so the defensive line was coming up, the wingers were going up, they weren't expecting the kick. There was great weight on the football, very good chase, Turvey, great try.
It was a great try. The best thing about Brett Finch doing is bringing the Dragons upon him, so they couldn't go back. He put the ball forward, and of course, for mine, that's a try. He was onside. We're waiting for the video referee to give it the official thumbs up.
And there it is. Well, his first strike was sensational. His second one is better left not described.
He's on the ground,
Put them under some pressure here. The Dragons 20 out with a full set of 6 to work in as Ross takes it forward. Matt got him downstairs. Jensen was there as well. Some numbers here on the left-hand side. Back to Shane Millard from Timmins. Simple try once again for the Dragons, and they've closed the gap. Well, they just caught them out. They weren't ready for it down that blind side. Ross took it forward, and suddenly they were caught short.
Well, Darren Mapp was the man that remained on the ground. You can see him there. He would have been back on the short side. It was good play. Timmins hits the ball up, looks back inside, and there we see Shane Millard backing up after he was the one that threw the initial pass. Good try, too.
Well, they caught the Raiders sleeping there, but great work by Timmins, putting the ball back. Basically a regular try, but great stuff there by Millard. Get the ball to Sean Timmins, turns the ball back in, and really the Raiders were well and truly found asleep on that right-hand side of the defensive line.
And on the inside, most notably with Darren Porter standing there and not expecting the ball to come back on the inside to Shane Millard. Well, once Timmins got the ball to him, it was way too late to try and put the speed on there and cover that gap, and Millard only had to fall over the line to score.
I think both coaches would be disappointed in their sides in the fact that they're coming up with some very good tries, and then they're letting the opposition in straight away. We saw Raiders do it first, then the Dragons come back, now the Raiders have come back, and then the Dragons are scoring within 5 minutes after. They've got to make sure they can control the football and not let it happen.
Smith with the kick in replacement of Riddell, who's off the field at the moment. Similar kick that Riddell was able to come up with from his first attempt also. And it stays at 10 points to wait here, 25 minutes into the first half. Here's Martin, just outside the 20. Finch to McClendon. They put it through the hands. Now Jensen will. It comes from McClendon again to Lelisi. Only has one to beat, and they've scored another good try. On the last tackle, they decided not to kick. There was some terrific work between McClendon and Jensen, who came from the right-hand side of the field. And once again, Lelisi gets the chance to score and picks up his second.
Well, it was a great try, but here we saw Trent Barrett deciding to run the football. Bit of a speculator on the outside. Comes straight into Michael Robertson's hands. And from there, they worked the ball a couple of plays. Got themselves into a very good position. Saw young Robertson has got plenty of pace as well. That's McClendon. Runs the ball. Jensen takes it up. Good little flick around the, or not around the back, but across the stomach. And I thought the winger did very well here, Jamel Lalisi.
Yeah. That's just, easy for you to say.
It is, but he hit the ground straight away too.
I've got to say, Barrett won't be happy with letting that ball go back to the Raiders, but well done by Mark McClendon too. He's been very significant in 2 of the Raiders' tries now, teaming up there with Lalisi.
Hopefully it's a little more successful than his second attempt from wide out on the other side of the field. His first one was a cracker from this point. This one has struck beautifully once again. Has it got the legs? No, it doesn't. But they lead once again by 6. It's 14-8 as we approach the half-hour mark here in Wollongong. McClendon gives it off to Lalisi. Good offload as well to Tongue, and now Thompson. Here's the halfback Finch, gives it away to Hodgson, and suddenly they found a bit of space on that right-hand side as they shifted it out towards Jason Croker. Here he is from dummy half now, running a long way, still going.
Last tackle.
Down towards the Dragons' 30-metre line. He'll play it there. Their options on the last tackle have been pretty good so far. And here's Finch looking for a field goal from a long way out. It's a good one too. It's a great one. Brett Finch, a terrific field goal from a long way out as well. Talk about last play options. There's one, and the Raiders lead the Dragons 15-8.
Well, that was a great little field goal there by Finch. A big confidence booster too that gives them 7-point lead. I know it's not much of a lead going into half-time, but it's the confidence that'll give the Raiders, and it's the problem that's going to cause the Dragons.
McClendon sends it back on the inside for Thompson. Luckily for him, the pass went backwards. Now to McClendon again. Here's Graham. Gives it off to Jensen. He was into a bit of space, and then Barrett came across to clean up. But they picked up around about 25 metres on the play. McClendon will go wide through the hands of Monahan to Finch. They're up very quickly. Finch got in behind them as well. Coming in support is Terry Martin. He'll score under the post for the Raiders. A very good try, Brett Finch. What a game he's having. A terrific pass back on the inside. And the Raiders lead them 19-8. The Dragons are in all sorts of trouble here.
Well, they certainly are in trouble, but the Raiders, how good are they going? They've got a lot of defence, a lot of confidence up now. And this man, Brett Finch, the Dragons just can't afford to hold off him. You can't afford to let this guy run with the football. Great little break there, well backed up by Martin. He had another man on his inside. They were definitely going to score the try at any stage.
Well, 2 things. The ability for the Raiders to keep the ball alive. Brett Finch, you see, feigns there. He's a will-o'-the-wisp. He gets through the defensive line, but the Dragons too, their inability to stop the man with the ball. Martin backing up there, scores the try. Pretty handy place to score a try. It is a 4-pointer. It should be 6-point.
Graham sticks another 2 points on the board for the Canberra Raiders. It's 21-8. Here's Monahan finding the touchline, putting it out of play, and that will do it for the first half. And what a half for the Canberra Raiders. 3 tries in all. Terrific kick as far as a field goal from Brett Finch. And they have a big margin as they go to the sheds. And listen to this reaction from the Dragons fans. Plenty of boos for this team. They won't have heard that too many times when they go to the break, and the players realise they are in a deep, deep hole here against the Canberra side.
Super Saturday ready to go.
Yourself back, Kenny.
I agree, Terry. I'd say a double movement.
I don't think you'll ever be a
Ross Roberts for an accidental offside to get things going in the second half.
That's 2. Let him go.
Ross it is, who's tackled just inside the Dragons' 20. Thompson now down the blind side.
3, Michael.
And some good meters on that particular charge. Riddell gets to dummy half. Bypasses Ross to give it through the hands.
That's 4. Stand up.
They'll play it just outside their own 30 with Felch. Roberts gets the first receiver. Peters. Smith trying to push away and link up with Illawarra, who was on his outside, lost the ball. Robertson comes up with it. It could have been play on for the Raiders, but They called the knock on before he had the chance to scoot away, and scoot away he was going to.
Well, that was a tough call on the Raiders. They did say he lost the ball. I don't think there's a problem there. The ball's gone back to the Raiders players. Should be play on.
Here's Riddell getting it off to Peters. The second phase ball. It came to Thompson. He almost stepped away from the tackle. He's only 10 metres away. A couple of tackles left in this set of 6. Here's Peters off the right foot. Back on the inside for Timmins, who reached out. Did he get it down?
Just looking for the second movement. Just looking for the second movement on that one.
I think he got it down okay.
Hey? Yeah, that's all right. As long as you don't dive forward. Yeah.
It's just a matter of whether he reached out after the tackle was completed. That's what Paul Simpkins wants to check on. We'll take a look at it here. He hits the ground and then reaches out. Was there momentum, or did he make a second effort? I think he might have made a second effort.
Exactly, I agree with you, Warren. The arm carrying the football has hit the ground, then he lifts it up and puts it over. To me, that's a double movement.
I agree with you, it's a double movement, but very tempting to Sean Timmins there. 2 converted tries down plus a field goal. His elbow hits the ground, so that's a tackle there, but he reaches out again. For mine, that is a double movement. I do agree with you, Brett.
It's a try. The video referee today, Ian Parnaby, figures he was still moving and was able to reach out in the motion. It certainly looked like it was a try when you see it at normal speed. When you slow it down, it does look, of course, a lot worse. But Timmins has scored the first try, the second half, and given them a chance here.
Nice little step inside by Willie Peters. Yes, his momentum was going forward, so obviously the video referee has judged that. But for mine, I thought it was a bit of a double movement like yourself, Brett Kenny.
I agree, Turvey. I'd say a double movement.
I don't think you'll ever be a video referee, Brett Kenny.
Boy, I sound I'm too honest.
Here's Riddell from almost right in front. You honest? Are you kidding?
Well, I know one thing. The Dragons needed it. And here's Riddell with his famous salute about to try to make 4 into 6.
He does exactly that. 21-8 becomes 21-14 in the early minutes of this second half here at Wollongong. Simon Wolford still looking on from the bench, waiting for his chance to get back out there. Roberts. He gives it to Bailey.
That's 4, let him up.
From dummy half, the fullback goes. Kite. Should be on fresh legs. Barrett gives it to Peters. Gets in behind them from Smith. It goes to Tutt. Hookie's out there screaming for it, and they couldn't get it to him. He was all by himself for a moment, but didn't get the pass. Now Peters, once again the Dragons. It comes off the Raiders' legs, and that's 6 more tackles. Riddell straightens. He's only got Graham to beat. Big try for the Dragons. They got a piece of luck when it bounced off the Raiders' legs, and they came straight back at them. The kick is to come. It's 21-18. It'll be 21-20 in a moment, and we've got a thriller here to finish with at Wollongong.
We certainly have, but finally they decided to put the kick in on the last play. A little bit of luck involved there coming back off the Raiders player, but Riddell did really well. He saw that there was 6 again. Good step off the left again. There was the fullback, Phil Graham, going high. Probably could have gone low, would have stopped the try, but great effort by Riddell.
Well, they're back in the game, Brett. And, of course, Riddell picking that ball up. As I said, he's been out for 4 weeks, coming back from suspension. He really has played well today. He's tried hard. He's run well from dummy half. His sheer determination gets him over the line, although I've got to say, poor defence by the number 8 there, Todd Payton for the Raiders.
And he slots this one home from close range. They trailed by 13 at the break. Now it's an ace. 21 plays 20 with 11 minutes left. Here's McClendon giving it to O'Hara.
3, stand up.
They'll just work it pretty simply, you would think. One off the ruck for a couple of tackles and then get a kick away again.
That's 4, Willie.
Martin will play it.
Sean.
Monahan showing it back on the inside, taking it from dummy half again.
Last tackle.
I've got one more tackle here, and Wolford will give it to McClendon under plenty of pressure, and he was hit by Riddell and has stayed down. And now Paul Simpkins will take a look at this. Both players, in fact, have stayed down. Don't
Now, walk
forget,
away
this is
from-
Mark Riddell's first game back after being suspended for 4 games for an incident involving Braithen Astor when he was trying to charge down a kick.
Got a number?
McLennan was under all sorts of pressure. Here's the kick. Oh, and he got him right around the jaw as well with a swinging arm. I tell you what, the Dragons just don't learn, do they? It was above the shoulder. Riddell has hit him. It's not all that dissimilar to the tackle he was suspended with for the Braithen Astor incident. Now, Riddell is still laying down there. He might have hurt himself in the attempt. He's getting some work on the right shoulder at the moment, but when he does make it back to his feet with the clock off for the moment, he'll be called out by the referee. And that was a dangerous tackle. Here's McLennan again. It was certainly high. He gets him right around the jaw. Collects McLennan, who was clotheslined by the incident. Mark Riddell is tempting fate here. After being suspended already for 4 weeks, he could be facing a plenty more if he was found guilty of a similar offence in his first game back.
I think there could be another visit to the judiciary again, but he may have possibly popped the shoulder as he's hit the ground. But certainly to have a very high tackle, and certainly will be put on report.
Now Riddell will have to listen to this. This will be interesting. He could in fact be sent off the field.
Paul, we had a kick downtown just here. This player's come through high, swinging, and clipped the other fellow across the face. It was a high tackle, and I think you need to take stern action with this one.
Righto. Okay, he's had a look at it. It's up here. Okay, go on.
Mark Riddell has been sent off in his comeback game from a 4-match suspension. The instructions were clear from the touch judge, and Mark Riddell might be missing for a long time to come in rugby league. The Dragons, in a week in which they've had Jason Ryles suspended for 5 games, lose their hooker, and he breaks down on the sideline. He can't believe what's happened, but I have to say he has nobody to blame but himself. That was a dangerous incident. He collected him late and high with a swinging arm, and it might be a big, big problem for the Dragons. They just can't keep players on the field. On the last now, here's Finch, he knocked it on! Peters was racing up to put some pressure on, and now Finch will be penalised for throwing the ball away when Peters wanted it. He'll cost his side some metres here, and the Dragons will end the game with 6 tackles close to the Raiders' line. They trail by a point. The clock will count down to 60 seconds now. Timmins taps it, and it comes forward with Bailey. The Raiders' defence has been good throughout the game. They need 6 more strong tackles here. Peters gives it off to Luke Felch. They're 18 metres away, 4 tackles left. Thompson will take it from dummy half. They'll burn a tackle there. They're 12 metres away. Peters is pointing. They go from dummy half through Barrett, who took them on himself, trying to win the game for them, looking for a penalty. Peters at first receiver, a short ball to Brent Kite. He's still going, still going. They hold him up, and they will hold him up in the in-goal area. There will be a scrum set if there's time. That might be good enough for the Raiders. If the siren goes before the scrum is set, the Raiders win the game. Paul Simpkins blows time off with 1 second on the clock.
You let the ball over there. Bring it with you. Bring it with you. The ball's gone out there. That's why you've lost it. Bullshit. Hold up.
Paul Simpkins blew time off as a clock went down to 0-0. This will be the last play of the game. Peters with a field goal. Charged down by Brett Finch. It's still alive for the Dragons. Knocked on by Lalawanda. But the Dragons get a penalty. The Dragons get a penalty for a differential. They were offside, he says, and they'll get a chance to win the game. I don't believe it. What a controversial ending to this game.
You're kidding.
And charge down the ball. No, it's a differential penalty. Off you go. You can't take a kick a goal. It's a differential penalty.
It will be a differential. They can't get the kick at goal, but they have one last chance here. Barrett will tap it. They took the field goal on the last play. They'll take it back as far as they can. The Raiders have to maintain their position on the line. And now Peters taps it and kicks a field goal after the siren for a draw. The Dragons have kicked the field goal after the bell to snatch a draw away from the Raiders, who are absolutely filthy with Paul Simpkins. An amazing end to this game. 21 plays 21. Brett Finch cannot believe it. Jamal Alessi can't believe it either. Neither can we, and there it is. 21 plays 21, the dealer wins. Timmins scores 2 tries. Millard and Riddell also scored. Riddell kicked a couple. Peters with the field goal tied it up. Lalisi scored 2. Jensen scored, as did Martin. Graham kicked 2 goals. And Finch kicked the field goal in the first half as well. What a game.
This is the game we've all been waiting for.
It's the big stage.
I cannot wait to get this game started.
It's grand final action. I actually cannot believe